Hi, this is Louise the Gap from the Purpose-Led School, and welcome to this week's short. Today, what this short is about is how the time for talking is over. I think we've got ourselves lulled into a false sense of security, in the sense that there has been a lot of progress in terms of the whole sustainability area, in that now we have raised awareness around it. So it is in everybody's awareness. We know that there is a problem. And yes, there are still some pockets where there's some denial. But for the most part, at a mass level, we know that we have a problem. And that is a huge victory. It has taken a lot of dedication and energy to get to that point where we know there's a problem and we are talking about it. The thing is that in some way that victory is lulling us into a false sense of security. Because yes, we are now aware of the problem, but we are light years from actually solving it. And right now, it's not getting better in terms of the piece around fixing it. It's getting worse. And if you think about it in terms of the change curve, we've all got out of the denial stage of the change curve, but there are a lot of stages before we're on the other side, really creating something fundamentally new. And so what you're seeing is we're much more at the bargaining stage right now. Yeah, we know we got to do something, so let's do something. But, how we can kind of do the minimum? How can we stay in our comfort zone and do stuff? Maybe if we wait 30 years, it's actually going to be all okay and we'll finally have the innovations. And it's okay, maybe, we've got time. And that's where we're failing. In the sense that we are bargaining. We're not solving and growing beyond, which is what we actually need to do. And so, yes, let's celebrate the fact that we're now at least talking about it. And talking about it knowing that it's a serious issue. But we are now entering a new phase, which is, what are we going to do about it? And actually doing it. Actually stopping bargaining. And, bargaining is, I can get away with just doing that. It's like we have COP. Hey, we're doing something. Isn't this great? We've got a place to talk about it. But we're going to put the head of an oil company to head it. Well, that's going to be interesting. Is there a conflict of interest? Maybe. Or at least there's definitely going to be an interesting bargaining. I hope that the first decision he makes is that at COP, there can finally be a conversation about how we stop our dependency on oil and gas. But the chances are that's not why he was put in that position. It was more a bargaining, which is, hey, we're talking about it. Oh, but it's okay. We don't really have to do much, anything like substantially scary to fix it. And so this is the next challenge. The next challenge is we have to go beyond talk. We have to go beyond the comfort and, the safety zone of just talking about it. And we have to choose to actually change things. To treat this as if it's a real problem. Right now, not in 30 years' time. Like many of us, I was watching the amazing speech by Al Gore at Davos this year. And there's one figure that stuck with me. 1 billion climate refugees. Let's be clear. 1 billion climate refugees before the end of this century is the end of society as we know it. It's the breakdown of our societies. So when we talk about the fact that we know there's a problem, we've got to remember that that is the real problem. It's the end of life as we know it. And I know we don't want to fixate on that because it's like, oh, don't make it too scary. But we've got to remember that that is what is at stake. For those of us who have children, look into the eyes of your children, because that is the world that they will be living in with 1 billion climate refugees. And so the challenge now is, what do we need to do? How do we need to step up to fix this? To actually disrupt the existing system. This isn't a bit like, oh, a little bit of incremental change is going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. We don't have that time. Maybe 50 years ago, when we already had the reports to tell us there was going to be a problem, maybe we did have that time then, but we don't anymore. We don't have that time. Our only solutions are quantum leaps. And so this is a new era. It's not about going, oh, it's okay, I'm talking about it and I'm having another meeting and I'm having another conference and another summit. Isn't that great? It's, what are we building? What are we building on the ground that's new, that's changing things, and that is having a massive impact? That is what this phase is about. The great news is that it's not just about a few pioneers having the conversation anymore. There are masses of us having that conversation. That means potential mass impact. But we got to understand that the time for talking is over. Now is the time to get our hands dirty and to build. To build that new world that we actually want to see. One which is livable. And not just livable for our children. It's one where they get to flourish. To truly flourish at a completely different level. Because the missed opportunity is, we know that the existing system, there's sustainability issues, but does it even really fundamentally work for us as human beings? We know there's problems with it. We wouldn't have the levels of depression that we have if there wasn't a problem with it. And so the opportunity that we have is to get to the bottom of, what does it mean to create something that actually works, that fundamentally works, and to create that consciously. So are you willing to stop talking and to start building? And as always, let me know how it lands and what you're going to do differently as a result.